Okay, good morning, everybody. So where we're at right now is on Monday, I guess it was, we went through pretty fast pace. We went through all of Module 2 stuff, because I think the stuff is, most of those things were things you knew how to do, right? Changing font size and all those kinds of things. So Module 2 stuff I have due Monday, which is January 23rd at midnight. We're going to do one of the cases today together. We'll do a SAMS case together just to walk through something, another exercise. And then whatever time we have left, if we're going to have time left, you can use it as a lab if you're having any issues. I'll come around and help you. And then Friday, we'll start Module 3. Module 3, we start using more functions, and we get in like if statements and conditionals and stuff that maybe you haven't been as exposed to as other things. So let's look at Module 2, and specifically the case, I'm going to do the first SAM case today. So if I'm going to go to link to SAMS in book, and want to access the SAMS in ebook, and under Module 2, I want to do SAM Project 1A, Spring 2017. So I'm going to click on that. I'm going to click Start. Remember, you have 5 times to do these. And I'm going to click on the Start file. I already downloaded the instructions for myself. Oh, the lab downstairs. We were having some issues with getting internet in there. There's the internet in there now. I need to go to a physical plant, pick up a key. I've not done that. So maybe, probably not Wednesday, but maybe, today is Wednesday. Maybe next week we'll meet down there once in a while. It really isn't real conducive to like this. It is more kind of a lab environment. So I'm not sure how it's going to work. But what I really would like you guys to have access to is the dual monitors. I think that's nice. That's kind of a business expectation now I have in my office. It's really, really helped me become more productive. Anyways, let's click on the starter file. And that should download an Excel workbook for us to work with. And I have the project steps here. If I enable editing, we are working today for the Good Breeze Hotel, apparently. And you see the documentation tab automatically puts in your name. So I'm going to read the project steps to you, since you probably don't able to have those up at the same time. Stephanie manages employees at the Good Breeze Hotel. For the new year, Stephanie decided to update the workbook she uses to track her team's compensation data. In order to make the information easier to understand, she wants to change the theme of the workbook to office. So at this point, I'm not sure what the theme is, but if we go to page layout, you remember on the far left under the themes grouping, there are the themes, and we're going to change it to office. And you see, even if I mouse over, it shows what the various themes look like. But office is the beginning plain Jane one. That's default, by the way. So it's kind of I'm not sure what it was before here. It says switch to the hourly compensation worksheet. I guess we already did that. Apply the title cell style to the merge range A1 to G1. So A1 to G1 is merged at this point, and we want to apply a cell style. So it's kind of nice to have pre-selected styles so you don't have to design things yourself. I know I have no aesthetic abilities. So if we go to Home, we go to Cell Styles, you'll see that there are different styles here, and we'll do the title style to A1, G1. So that's down here. Then it wants us to center the text in that merged. So we, under the Home tab, under the alignment grouping, we have these little buttons that can center things, and we will do that right now. We're done with steps 2. Step 3, it wants us to merge and center the range A2 to G2 and then change the font size to 14 points. So A2 to G2, which is right below the hourly workers' compensation. We're going to go once again under the Home tab, under the alignment group, and click on the Merge and Center button. Makes those one giant cell. And while we're there, we might as well change the text to 14 as it requested. Step 4 asks us to italicize the contents of range A3 to B3. So that would be these two cells. Wants us to italicize those. The I in the font group italicizes. Change the font to Times New Roman. So Times New Roman is an all font. It's not a theme font. So even if we change the theme, this would remain Times New Roman. Let me find Times New Roman. And then change the font color to orange, accent 2. So let's go up here to the font color button, and it wants orange accent 2 and 6-column first row. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Orange accent 2 is the first column. Click on that. That looks ugly, but it's a SAMS case, so we have to do what they want. It says format cell B3. That is the date. Using the short date format. So I clicked on that cell under the number grouping under the Home tab. Let's go down to short date. And short date is, as we would imagine, the 1/31/2016. So we can see it. Use the format painter to copy the format cell from A6 to the range B6, G6. So I'm going to find A6. I'm going to click on my little paint brush, and I'm going to paint that over B6 to G6, so they all have that similar orange background and white font. I'd like us to create a formula here. So in cell E7, let's go to E7. Create a formula that calculates the salary for Sarah, one of the servers at the Good Breeze Hotel. Her salary is calculated by multiplying the number of regular hours worked, which is B7, times her hourly rate, which is D7, and then adding to that number of overtime hours worked multiplied by her hourly rate times 1.5. So it looks like she gets time and a half for overtime. So what would that formula look like? We're going to take B7 times D7, that gives me her normal regular hours, plus, and we will do, I don't know, let's do this. So plus 1.5 times the7. That would give me what, $18 times C7. I guess I don't really need the parentheses for that. Okay, So we should have 570. So 480 regular, 18 times 5, that's 90. Yeah, 570 is correct. Okay. To calculate straw, copy this formula you created in the formatting in cell E7 to E8 through E10. So I'm just going to drag that down. We're step 8 here. It says Stephanie wants to see what percentage of her employees' total working hours are spent working overtime. So in cell G7, enter a formula that divides Sarah's overtime hours by her total hours worked. So we're going to take C7 for Sarah and divide by F7. Hit enter. It looks like that is G7, and let's just copy that down. All right, step 9 says change the fill colors of cell E8, E10, G8, and G10. So these are non-adjacent cells. So let's go to E8 and hit the shift. It wants me to also do E10. Oops, I'm sorry, control, I'm going to hit E8, E10, G8, and G10. And it wants us to change the fill to blue accent 1. So let's go to the fill. It says the 5th column and 2nd row of the theme colors palette. Blue accent 1. Okay. That work for you guys? Yes? Step 10 says to quickly see which employees worked overtime, use the highlight cells rules conditional formatting to format cells in the range C7 to C10 with a value greater than 0. So C7 to C10, highlight that row. Those cells, select those. Go to conditional formatting, which is in the home tab. Go to highlight cells rules. We want any that's greater than, and it says 5 because that was the first one. We're going to change that to 0. And it says light red fill with dark red text. That appears to be the default, so I don't have to change anything. I click OK. And you'll see now that the ones that are greater than 0, 5, 2, and 10 are highlighted. In cell A11, increase the indent of the cell contents twice. So I'm going to go to A11. Once again, under the alignment grouping, increase the indent. I'm going to click that on at twice. Move average over twice. Stephanie would like to know the average number of regular hours worked by her employees. In cell B11, create a formula using the average function to find the average number of regular hours employees worked in a week, B7 to B10. The quickest way to do this, I could type equal average, B7 to B10, but the quickest way to do this is to use the auto sum under the home tab, and instead of using the sum, hit the drop down arrow and use the average and then accept that. It would like to apply that average to everything. So it wants to apply that average from B11 the whole way to C11 to G11. So the quickest way to do that is to drag that over. It says, in the range E7 to E11, E7 to E11, apply the currency number format with 0 decimal places. So I'm going to go highlight that, go to currency, and I want no decimal places. It wants us for G7 to G11 to make that look like a percentage. So apply the percentage format. And it looks like it wants 1 decimal place. For the merged cell A20 to A30, which is this, it's asking us, which the text is rotated, it's asking us to rotate it to 0 degrees. So I don't know if that would be, I'm just going to go to Format Cell Alignment because I'm not sure which one of those does it. And I'm going to change this to 0 degrees. Click OK. It says find and replace all instances of the text weekly hour with weekly hours. Hint, you should find and replace 2 instances. So I'm going to go up to find and select. I'm going to go to, this is in the home tab. I'm going to go to replace. I'm going to look for weekly hour and replace with weekly hours. Replace all. It says all done, we replaced 2, and that's what it says we should have replaced, so I'm going to close that dialog. Step 17. Stephanie plans to print the worksheet to review with her team. So please change the orientation to landscape and set the margins to wide. So I'm going to go to page layout. Orientation, I'm going to change to landscape. Margins, I'm going to change to wide, which is 1 inch all around. Excuse me, and a 1/2 inch for the footer. She wants the table and the chart to appear on separate pages when printed. Select cell A13 and then insert a page break. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go to page break view. It didn't tell me to do that, but I'm going to do that. And looks like we have everything on one page now. It wants us to select cell A13, which is here. Go into the page layout view, under breaks, insert a page break. So you notice it inserts a page break above where my cursor was. So I was on A13 and it inserts it above A13. It also wants the Good Breeze Hotel hourly workers' compensation and the report date to print on every page. I want to repeat rows 1 to 3 on every page. To do so, I'm going to go to print titles. And here it says rows to repeat at top. I'm going to select the little spreadsheet indicator. And I'm going to select rows 1, 2, and 3. Hit the close window. Click OK. So left that dialog open because the next step says to create a custom footer. So let's go to print titles again. Under the header footer tab under the page setup, it wants us to create a custom footer. So I'm going to click on custom footer. It says in the left section, which is what we're in right now, display the current page number. So I'm going to click on the little insert page number. In the center section, so I'm going to click on the center section, display the sheet name. So this is the file name, which would be the workbook name. This would be the path. The sheet name is the third one. That would be like the tab. Click OK. Click OK. And it says switch to normal view if necessary. I'm going to save this. I think I'm done. I'm going to do save as. I'm going to save it to my desktop, I guess. And I want to change that 1 to a 2. Now the moment of truth. And there is a picture that says your work should look like this. I am going to go back to SAMS. I'm going to that open case. I'm going to choose a file. I think it's this one. Yes, it is. I'm going to open. I'm going to submit. So my assignment is submitted. Looks like everything went okay there. I have to now go to SAM. Go to results. Projects. This doesn't look like yours, right? Because I'm in instructor mode. Yeah, this isn't going to look like yours. My free student preview expired, so. Did you guys were able to find your results when you submitted it? What did we get? No good. What was wrong? Did everyone get an 86 or just Plowman? You got 100? Plowman, you screwed up something then. So do you know how to find what you screwed up? Like what was wrong? You can go, yeah, you can go to go to SAMS, go to the reports. I'll show you that. You got 100?
Actually, I got 95, but the one thing I just forgot.
All right, okay. Yeah.
Mine says it's expecting a different file for this assignment, so I can't submit it, and it's.
Did you name it exactly?
Yeah.
The name it one?
It says copy of.
Yeah, it has to be exactly. It can't be copy of.
Right, so how do I change the copy of it?
File, save as. Or right click on it and just click rename. It has to be the exact name. So get rid of the copy of or. Yep. you go back to SAMS, that's the match. Alright, so that's submit. I'll go to go to SAM now. Should go to reports. Let's put on report. So I'm gonna stop the recording here. We have 20 minutes. So if you haven't